Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to week 2 of my polymer clay Christmas ornament series. This week I'm going to be showing you how to make these fun snowflakes. It's a really nice meditative process. You'll find that you just get lost in it and enjoy making a whole bunch. So the first thing that you will need to make your snowflakes is some sort of template. Now you don't need anything quite as fancy as these. Really all you need are 3 lines at 60-degree angles to each other, just to delineate the 6 sections of the snowflake. Those of you who are my patrons, I will have this template on the Patreon page for you to download and use, but you don't need it. You'll also need a piece of glass. Now, even though this one has grid markings, which seems like they might be distracting, I didn't really find them to be a problem at all. They're probably more distracting on camera. And what you want to do is tape your paper with your template to the back of the glass. That way you can move the whole thing around as you work on different ones. Of course, you're not limited to these sizes. Like I said, draw your own templates and make them whatever size you want. And next, of course, you'll want some polymer clay. And you can make your snowflakes out of any colors that you want. I've chosen Primo Opal, which is actually just transparent with these little iridescent flecks in there. Pearl, which seemed appropriate. And this one is White Gold Glitter, which is really pretty. So after you've conditioned your clay, and I conditioned about a half a block of each, which was more than enough, and you want to roll your clay out on a medium setting. This is about a 3 on my pasta machine, which is about 1.5 millimeters thick. I tried it thinner and I didn't really like the look. I thought this was just right, but you can experiment to see what works for you. Also, you'll find it helpful to extrude some of your polymer clay into ropes. This is a 2.5 millimeter diameter round disc on my extruder, and I've just extruded some of the clay. Now you can see, because of the little iridescent flecks in there, the opal doesn't extrude into a nice smooth rope, but we can make our snowflakes look nice, so don't worry about that. Although you can manage without them, a few sets of small shape cutters will come in really handy and make the process go a bit more quickly. So here I have a Sculpey set, and I used a lot of these shapes in my snowflakes. The rest of these are all Kemper cutter sets. These are all circles, these ones are ovals, and these ones are mini shapes, like 3/16 of an inch shapes. And I used some of all of these. A couple of ball tools will be helpful for making your shapes, and then just some of your other clay tools. So like for this one, I used the diamond and the marquee, and it's some extruded rope, and I also used the small oval and cut pieces of the opal clay and stack that. So you don't have to just use one color, you can use other colors, and you don't just have to have one layer, you can stack layers on top of each other. For this snowflake, you can see that I use the glitter ropes. I kind of pressed down the first 2 once in the center once I put them down, and that way it wasn't a big, thick, bulky spot in there. And you can see I used the flower. There's a little 6-sided flower in that set, which was perfect. And then the hearts, and then the teardrops, and I even used the small circle because they just look too solid. I think with this one I may need to go back and add some more, maybe some spirals or something else. It looks a little plain, and that's the beautiful thing, is that you can bake it and then you can go back and add more later if you want. This one was coming out kind of steampunk, so I dusted it with copper and bronze perfect pearls, and that's kind of cool. And also used the small ball tool just to kind of add to that steampunk look. So in this snowflake there are several examples of using your cutters to really good advantage. You can see that I have these little diamonds here, but I don't have any cutters that are small diamonds. I also have this V shape here, and all I did to get those 2 shapes was I took the diamond cutter that I do have, cut out a diamond, and then cut another out of that. There's my V shape, and there's my small diamond. So you can cut shapes out of shapes, use your cutters to sculpt other shapes. Now also on here I have these little like crescent moon shapes, and those are kind of fun because to get my 6 crescent moons I cut 3 circles and then cut again, overlapping. And now you can see out of each of those shapes I have 2 crescent shapes and a little marquee shape. Here they are so you can see. There's a crescent and a marquee and a crescent. And then the center of the snowflake was a circle cutter with another circle cut out of it. You can add dots. Like I said, it's very much just a meditative process that you just add what looks good next. So here's this one that I built right on this shape. And I did kind of copy the shape. I like these spiky things, and so I used the extruded opal clay. And like I said, it comes out of the extruder kind of wobbly, and all you need to do is give it a light roll and a pull, and you can see it's nice and straight. And then you can just place your pieces down. If there's going to be several layers, just kind of give it a squash against the glass, and that will keep it in place. And by the way, I know this grid is probably a little distracting, and the best thing to use is just a piece of glass from a picture frame. You just go ahead and build these, and I built all these shapes the same way. Use the craft blade, cut the pieces, shape them. Do make sure they're pretty well stuck together because these are small, thin pieces. You don't want your snowflake falling apart when it comes out of the oven. And you can see here I used some of the teardrop shape, and I also used the little ovals. I used dots of the white gold glitter to accent. And if you find that your snowflake is a little weak and flimsy after coming out of the oven, you can flip it over, put it on a piece of card, and then just run some translucent liquid Sculpey or any kind of liquid clay on the back and bake it again, and that will strengthen it. You can just get so creative, and of course any of these steps that I'm doing I would multiply times 6 and just keep adding shapes, roll little balls, flatten them. Just have fun building yourself snowflakes. As always, it's my hope to inspire and encourage you with these videos, and if you've benefited, consider becoming a patron. You can support these tutorials with $1 a month or whatever you can afford, and you can check out my Patreon page for details. So here's another look at the snowflakes that I made. The best thing to do is just to get yourself a template and a piece of glass and some clay and just start building. So have fun just creating your own unique, one-of-a-kind snowflakes. And if you're interested in the supplies I used, click on the little I for information in the upper right, or the link in the description box to go to my blog post. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and take a peek at my Patreon page for how you can get great rewards and help support these tutorials.